Hello children, this is Geeta Jaikumar once again welcoming you all. Children, how are you? I hope all of you are doing good. So our chapter for this session is diversity in living organisms. Children, in this chapter, we are going to concentrate more on the living organisms in our surroundings. How are they? Why are they classified? Why are they named? What is the basis of classification? All these basic concepts we will be handling in this session. Now, before we start the chapter, let us just remember that this planet Earth is something that we are sharing with all other fellow living beings. So we have to nurture and we have to look after our planet, and at the same time, we should also conserve our planet Earth. Only then this planet will be livable and it will be a place where all of us can stay in harmony. So in this chapter, we are going to study about classification and what are the different bases of classification. What is nomenclature? That means what is the system of naming? What is it based upon? And what are the conventions that are used for nomenclature? So let us continue ahead with our chapter. Our planet Earth is the home of a variety of plants, animals, and other organisms, fungi, microorganisms, and much more. 30 million species inhabit the biosphere, ranging from microscopic bacteria to the blue whale. Do we know them all? Have we given them any names? Is there any systematic way of studying them? By the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the history of classification of living organisms, describe organisms using the 5 kingdom classification, use the hierarchical classification system to further classify organisms into subgroups, explain the names of organisms using binomial nomenclature. Organisms differ in form, structure, and mode of living. So, they need to be grouped according to their similarities. The grouping of related organisms helps to study evolutionary relationships and to identify them. Aristotle in the 4th century, the Greek philosopher Aristotle classified animals based on whether they live on land or in the water or in the air. But his classification was unscientific, as it placed unrelated organisms like fishes, crocodiles, and whales living in the same habitat in the same group. What is classification? Classification is the division of living organisms on the basis of characteristics into groups and subgroups. A characteristic may be a particular form or function. For example, some animals have 5 fingers. This is a characteristic. The process of classification continues using a new characteristic each time. All living things are classified on the basis of their form and function. But forms and functions evolve with time. Evolution is a change in inherited traits from one generation to the next. It was Charles Darwin who put forth the idea of evolution in 1859 in his book, The Origin of Species. Most living forms that we see today have evolved to survive better. Hence, classification of living forms is closely related to their evolution. Biologists such as Ernst Haeckel, Robert Whittaker, and Carl Woese have tried to classify living organisms into two broad categories called kingdoms. Carolus Linnaeus classified all the living organisms as plantae and animalia. Ernst Haeckel proposed Protista to include eukaryotic unicellular organisms. Copeland introduced Monera to include all the prokaryotic organisms. In 1969, Whittaker proposed to include the five kingdom classification. Which is still used today. That is the Protista, Monera, algae, fungi, plantae, and animalia. Organisms can also be classified on the basis of their hierarchy. Kingdom breaks into phylum for animals or division for plants. Class, order, family, genus, and species. Hence, the basic unit of classification is the species. A species includes all organisms that are similar enough to breed and produce fertile offsprings. Another important landmark in the history of classification of living organisms was the development of the system of scientific naming or nomenclature, introduced by Carolus Linnaeus. When we name an organism, we write the name of the genus first and the species later. Both of these are Latin words. This method of naming an organism is called binomial nomenclature. Certain conventions are followed while writing the scientific names. The name of the genus begins with a capital letter. The name of the species begins with a small letter. When printed, the scientific name is given in italics. And when written by hand, the genus name and the species name have to be underlined separately. Now, let's discuss about the five kingdom classification by Whittaker. Let us study about the kingdom Monera. The kingdom Monera includes prokaryotic cells which lack organized nucleus and membrane-bound cell organelles. Some of the common Moneras are bacteria, blue-green algae, which is also called cyanobacteria, and mycoplasma. Monera are autotrophic. They get their nutrition by synthesizing their own food. They are also heterotrophic. That is, they get their nutrition from the environment. Members of the kingdom Protista are algae, diatoms, and protozoans. Protista include plants and animals. Their mode of nutrition can be autotrophic or heterotrophic. They are unicellular and the simplest form of eukaryotes. Some protists move with whip-like structures called flagella, or hair-like structures called cilia, or finger-like structures called pseudopodia. The next kingdom, that is the fungi, includes mushrooms, rhizopus, and mucus. These organisms are not plants and are not capable of performing photosynthesis. Most fungi are multicellular and eukaryotic. They have cell walls made of a tough complex sugar called chitin. Fungi live on dead and decayed plants and animals, and they derive their food and nutrition. Hence, they have got the name of saprophytes. There are some fungi that live in a mutual relationship with blue-green algae. Both fungi and algae together are known as lichens, and this relationship is called symbiosis. The next kingdom is Plantae. All plants that are non-motile and autotrophic in nature, they come under Plantae. They are multicellular and eukaryotic with cell walls made up of cellulose. Now we come to the next kingdom, that is Animalia. Animalia is the largest of the kingdoms in terms of species diversity. This kingdom includes all the animals that are motile and heterotrophic. They are multicellular and eukaryotic without any cell wall.